Hey everyone, welcome to Biblical Symbolism in Trigun. All the art in here shown is either from the canon or from me, so there's not going to be any art credits because it's either me or from Trigun. Wahoo! Let's get into this. So, yeah, this has spoilers for all forms of Trigun, the manga, 98 anime, and Stampede. There is no movie. We don't talk about the movie. Got it? So, what should you expect from here? Okay, I got memes. There's a lot of memes, alright? I do have some actual analysis. Is it completely fully comprehensible? Yeah, maybe. And is it fully comprehensive of everything that shows up? Definitely not. But this is what I have right now, alright? You should expect me being insane about Trigun, but, like, you guys are used to that, alright? And there are body horror on two slides, but if you're used to, if you've read the entire Trigun Maximum, you should be fine. Alright, what should you not expect? Well, for starters, yeah, this isn't completely comprehensive. I'm not going to be normal about this. There are no videos in this. Alright, background for those of you who don't know Trigun. It is a sci-fi western. It's also Christian, especially Catholic symbolism, and its main conflicts are man versus man and man versus self. And it's got a power plant and a floral plant pun. Alright, synopsis of the general plot. Okay, Vash, the guy we see here on the screen. Let me get my little PowerPoint laser pointer on. Wahoo! Yeah, so, our boy Vash here, he's a pacifist, alright? He refuses to kill people under any circumstances, and he's trying to stop his twin brother, Millions Knives, who's trying to commit genocide against humans. Because he wants plans to reign supreme over the land, and also he wants the plants to not be under slavery. Alright, and the plants not being under slavery is a reasonable ask. Alright, so, surface level, that's right, we have an iceberg. Alright, Nicholas D. Wolfwood, whoa, he's a priest. He carries a cross. Alright, other notable things. Because he's notably called a priest in both the manga and the 98 anime, we can assume that he's Catholic. You know the interesting thing about him having a pastor's contract in Stampede? He's not Catholic anymore. He's a Protestant. The Eye of Michael is a Protestant outreach. Can you believe that? Interesting. Anyways, in the other versions, he's Catholic. Alright? Well, the plants have divinity attached to them, right? No, like in the manga, oh my gosh, the wings and the feathers, stunning, amazing, wonderful. I screenshot every single instance of the wings and the angel form existing in the manga, and then put them all on multiple slides. So what you're going to be seeing is the toned down version, alright? They can create matter needed for life from nothing. That's what they do. They're power plants. They create things from, except instead of, getting the power from somewhere, they kind of just get it from nowhere. And technically, they're like attached to an energy thing, but like, that's not from this universe. And they live very long lives, that's significant aging. Theoretically, the plants could live forever, assuming that they're not overworked, which is insane. Alright? They allow for human survival, they protect people, and, they're generally nice. They're also capable of virgin births, as we know from the Independents, because they're asexual. They reproduce asexually. That's what they do. Virgin birth is just a fun thing for reproducing asexually. Alright? Woo! Slides! Okay, especially this part. Stunning. Amazing. Beautiful. Alright? I love these worms so much. Alright? Most of this here. That. Gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Like, I love all the wing symbolism. Alright, now we have my favorite panels from the manga, okay? Wolfwood praying to God. He literally goes, God, can a murderer never change? Is there no forgiveness for the sins of my past? Am I lost? You know who fucking answers? Bash! Bash fucking answers, okay? Which is even more symbolism of the fact that the plants are divine, and also more about how Vash is a Christ figure, which we will get into later in the presentation. Alright, now we have Knives in his confessional in the 98 anime. Alright, when he dies in the 98 anime, he goes to a fucking church and he prays. Alright? Like, nothing more to say to that, okay? Now, Project Seeds. Project Seeds is a Noah's Ark. Alright, we have all the people on there, and all the people are out to make sure that people don't die due to climate change on Earth. It has a whole bunch of people. In theory, it has a whole bunch of other things required for life, which will allow life to survive outside of Earth after it became uninhabitable, which is sort of similar to a flood, alright? Now, Knives' Ark is also a Noah's Ark. However, it is for the plants, so it's kind of like an opposing ark, if that makes sense. Also, like all the wings and stuff on this thing, so creepy. Loved it. Alright? Fun fact for this section, yeah, that's right. There are 3 sections to this world, and the first one. Elendir the Crimson Nail canonically trains in the manga, and everyone respects her, and we love her. She's great. Very cool. Alright, next one. This is me, by the way. I mean, it's not a literal picture of me, but like in spirits, this is me. Alright, so we got number symbolism. Alright, there are 7 original major cities, which is a recurring number in the Bible. So you just kind of look out for it 7 days of the week, 7 days of creation, fascinating things. And there are 2 cities destroyed. In the Bible, it's Sodom and Gomorrah, and in the show, it's July. July and the other one that was the Half Moon incident. I don't remember that one's name at the moment. Um, there were 5 major cities remaining, which is similar to the 5 plain cities in the New Testament. And there are 12 official gung-ho guns. There's other things, alright? Which is sort of similar to the 12 disciples of Jesus. Even though they're following knives, we're not going to think about that. They're an evil disciples of Jesus. Notice again, city destruction, alright? Destroyed by angel arm. How more literal can we get than a city being destroyed by God as city being destroyed by an angel arm? Alright, it's awesome. Also, it's really cool how they look. They look so cool. It also parallels the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah for multiple reasons. Because those cities were taking advantage of plants very strongly. I mean, July was literally mentioned as being a monopoly on the water plants, which allowed them to get tons of guns, which is why they were one of the biggest cities. And in the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, angels destroyed the city and anyone around them was killed, which, while similar to Stampede, I know in the 98 anime it was specifically mentioned that nobody died, just everything got destroyed, which then, killed people by means of they didn't have anything. Next thing, we have Vash as a Jesus figure. Yeah. Alright? His inhuman levels of patience for humans, alright? He gets hurt, he gets bruised, people take advantage of him and his ideals many, many, many times, and he never gives up on people. Alright? Independent plants are a bridge between humans and plants, and as you mentioned before, plants are a thing of divinity. So, in that way, much like how Jesus was a bridge between humans and God, Dash is a bridge between humans and plants. Alright, yeah, he was born from a virgin birth because, as we mentioned before, the plants reproduce asexually. He's also the oldest of the Reaper followers. This isn't very important, but I think it's interesting anyways. And he wanders in the desert for years with his brother, who is a Lucifer figure. And he technically dies and comes back. More importantly, we have this thing of where he forgives Wolfwood for betraying him, which is how Wolfwood is more of a Judas figure, which we're also going to get more into. This manga panel really stuck out to me as something because Knives is literally like, how many times they hurt you, betrayed you, lied to you, humiliated you, treated you like an animal, and he still believes in people. After all of that, Vash has experienced the worst of humanity, and he still believes in people. Alright? Now we have Knives as a Moses figure, which we're also including this thing with the ark here. Alright, yeah. He made an ark for the plants. He wanted to lead the plants out of human slavery. Alright? Similar to how Moses was leading his people out of slavery in Egypt. Alright? Once again, he's an independent plant, which is a bridge. And while Moses was just a prophet, he still talked to God. They were homies. Alright? He does talk about haunting a paradise where the plants will be free. Alright? However, as we know, Knives is also a Lucifer figure. This version of him slaps, by the way. Because he thinks the plants are better than angels. Alright? He wants to kill all of humanity. He's the reason that the human ships follow Gunsmoke, and he makes circumstances for humans to kill each other. In addition to these points here, Knives also rebels against Rem and her ideals, and does the opposite. And Rem is somewhat of a god figure. Now, she is the one that raised Fashion Knives, which we're also getting more into later. I'm saying that a lot. But yeah, Knives believes plants to be better than angel. Plants are like the angels. He believes that plants are superior, and he rebels against Rem. In addition to wanting to kill people and creating the circumstances for people to kill each other and generally sin, that's what he's doing. Alright, now, Wolfwood is a Judas figure. Alright, they're so cute together. Yeah. He leads Vash to Knives, knowing that Knives wants to hurt Vash. Alright, he betrays Vash, but he also follows Vash for a very long time and protects him. And Vash knows that Wolfwood's gonna betray him. He knows. He goes willingly. And closest friends. He also dies before Vash completes his character arc, which is interesting because after after Jesus dies, Judas, kills himself. Alright, now the apples. I hate this fucker. I hate this fucker so much. Anyways, yeah. So, Knives turns into an apple tree. That is honestly one of the few ways I think we can interpret this in full honesty. It's like he's there, and then the tree is there, and he's not. He became the tree. I don't know what to tell you. Alright? This fucker is technically supposed to be Chapel, but he's nothing like Chapel in any other versions. But he has this apple, and he has these kind of snake eyes, so he's sort of like the snake in Eden. Anyways, Wolfwood steals it, bites into the apple, and then is fucking shot in the back, and that was terrible. Hated that. Yeah, and then we have red geraniums, which, by the way, even in the manga, are specified to be red. Alright? Red really likes these red geraniums. Ren is associated with God. Alright? Geraniums generally symbolize resurrection and eternal life. She specifically says determination and courage. But red geraniums specifically also symbolize the love of God. Specifically red. Other geraniums will also symbolize resurrection, eternal life, but red ones specifically mean the love of God. Yes, baby Bash is adorable. Alright, fun fact for this section, Millions, Knives, and Vash are both implied to be canonically trans, because all the other plants are shown to be women. Alright? In addition to that, it should be mentioned that Chronica, the only independent plant we see that actually knows other independent plants, and knows kind of more the deal of what plants are, is surprised that Knives is a man to begin with. She's like, he's a plant, which kind of implies that all the rest of them were women, which is, you know, food for thought. Now we're getting to the crazy shit. Wahoo! Yeah, so the Siege ship are kind of like Eden, alright? Knives and Vash are created, they find Tesla. She could be considered an apple of knowledge because while Vash and Knives aren't the first, they do. While they're not the first people, they don't know of anyone before them. They're just sort of showing up. They don't know much about life. They're learning things. And then when they find out about Tesla, everything goes down. They suddenly know they know good and bad. They know all these things. And that's ultimately what leads to Knives creating the fall because he can't handle it. Alright? Legato's a snake. Look at this guy in his little cocoon and his long tongue. Oh my gosh. He also gets his legs broken for trying to kill Vash, which is sort of similar to how when the snake deceived Adam and Eve, it lost its legs, so he was stuck in this coffin for the rest of the things. Also his weird tongue. Yeah, the bride alcohol. Um, yeah, so the bride alcohol, it's held by Wolfwood. Alright? Jesus sometimes referred to as a groom and his followers as the brides. As we already know, Wolfwood is one of Vash's followers, and Vash is sort of a Christ-like figure. So in this way, Wolfwood is the bride in this way. Alright? Rem is God. Finally, as I've been talking about this for ages. Rem, alright, no. She's part of the creation of the twins. She raised them. She's there. She tells them good and wrong. She listens to them. She helps them out. She is a single mom who works 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never stops. Alright? Because it's just her and them on the ship, and then for part of the manga, Conrad as well, but mainly just her and them. It's sort of like Adam and Eve and God in the Garden of Eden. She is the reason that humans are able to survive at all on No Man's Land or Gunsmoke. It's inherently because she chose to stay back and change the directory of the ships because she cared about life. She is also the reason that Vash is a Christ figure to begin with, and as he is basically her son, she is just forget the father. We have the mother here now. Alright? Now, I'm just going to be mentioning that Ellen the Crimson Nail. She uses nails to kill people. She's also the secret 13th member. We're not going to think about it. She's just also awesome. Alright. Now, Vash walks with the Punisher, specifically only in the 98 anime. And, the Punisher's cross-shaped. He's carrying his cross on his back. This cross is also used to, it doesn't just represent Wolf's regrets, but it also represents, he considers it to represent his sins. And in this way, Vash is choosing to take on that and redeem Wolfwood after he's dead. Which is similar to, Jesus carrying his own cross and redeeming humanity. Wow. Alright. Now, Cain and Abel. What's interesting here is that even though you think that Knives would be Cain in this scenario, it's Vash. Alright? Vash thinks about killing Knives multiple times. Now, the reason you think that Knives would be the Cain is because he kind of believes that Rem likes Vash more than him. Vash was very much a mama's boy. I'm not being mean about saying that. It was accurate. And in that way, God had favorites. God favored Abel, and King killed him for that. But instead, we see here is that Vash, Vash shoots Knives, alright? He thinks about dropping a rock on Knives and then considers against it. But he does shoot Knives, and after that, he is never able to stay in one place for very long. And Cain's punishment was to be forced to wander the desert forever, and if he stopped anywhere for too long, bad things would happen. Like when Vash stops in any town for too long, bad things happen. Shootouts, town gets destroyed, all sorts of things. All because Vash stays in a place for a little bit too long. Right? And our final fun fact of the day is that in the modern AU that Naito made, where everyone plays high school baseball, Wolfwood still fucking dies. He's doomed. He's doomed in every single universe. Alright, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will answer. Have a wonderful day.